Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, and trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this one. One of the absolute best things about Oblivion has always been the sense of discovery. Whether you're stumbling into a random cave on your way to Coral or taking on a shady side quest in Breville, the world is packed with hidden gems. And the best part? Some of those hidden gems come in the form of unique gear, items so rare and lore-rich, they feel like they were made just for your character's journey. In this video, we're shining a light on the best unique items in Oblivion Remastered. These aren't just your average swords and shields, they've got powerful enchantments, unforgettable designs, and backstories that tie right into the rich Elder Scrolls universe. Whether you're looking to beef up your build or just want to collect the coolest stuff Tamriel has to offer, we've got you covered. So grab your repair hammers, check your encumbrance limit, and let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. Alright, let us talk about one of the coolest and most underrated unique weapons you can get your hands on in the Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion Remastered, Caliban's Grim Retort. Now, this is not just your average blunt weapon you randomly stumble upon. This mace has style, it has history, and more importantly, it packs a punch both physically and magically. It is hidden away in the Trentius family mausoleum, which already sounds like the start of a spooky adventure, right? You can go after this beauty during or after the side quest, Unfriendly Competition. Once you start poking around the Trentius family mausoleum on Green Emperor Way, you will come across Caliban Trentius's stone effigy. What you want to do is search behind it carefully. That is where the real treasure lies. The moment you grab the Grim Retort, you will know it is something special. It is not just a strong mace, it is enchanted to absorb your enemy's strength and blunt weapon skill temporarily, while also dealing some solid frost damage on top. That combo is just brutal in all the best ways. What makes Caliban's Grim Retort so fun is how effective it is in longer fights. It slowly chips away at your opponent's ability to hit you back hard, which means you gain the upper hand the longer the battle drags on. If you are facing stronger foes or even just trying to make your character feel like a real powerhouse without going full Daedric right away, this weapon delivers. It may not look flashy, but the utility and debuffs it brings are top tier. So, if you are the kind of player who loves finding hidden gems in the game and appreciates weapons that do more than just hit hard, Caliban's Grim Retort absolutely deserves a spot in your arsenal. Do not sleep on this one. The game is full of shiny gear and legendary weapons, but sometimes the ones tucked away in family tombs end up becoming your secret weapon for dominating Cyrodiil. If you have ever gone toe-to-toe with a spellcaster in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, especially as a melee-focused warrior, you probably know the pain of getting absolutely roasted from across the room. Literally. Fireballs, frost shards, shock bolts, mages in Oblivion do not play around, and they will cook you alive if you are not prepared. That is where one of the best unique items in the game comes in to save your armored hide, the Hands of the Atronach. These gauntlets are not just another chunk of heavy armor, they are basically your personal insurance policy against elemental chaos. What makes the Hands of the Atronach so special is their built-in resistance to fire, frost, and shock. We are talking solid defensive stats and magical resistance in one tidy package, and the best part? You do not have to crawl through some obscure dungeon to find them. Just head over to the Imperial City Market District and visit Cyrodiil at the Mystic Emporium. He has got them in stock, if you have the coin. Sure, the price tag might make your coin purse cry a little, but think about it. No more running in circles while a conjurer pelts you with spells. No more wasting potions every 10 seconds because a battle mage got lucky with a lightning strike. These gauntlets turn you into a much tougher target for any spellcaster, and honestly, they make a real difference during long fights where every bit of resistance counts. In a game like Oblivion Remastered, where difficulty scales and enemies hit harder the longer you play, investing in gear that directly counters your weaknesses is a no-brainer. Hands of the Atronach are not just about survival, they are about turning the tables. Suddenly, that smug warlock who used to wreck you with a spell combo is sweating bullets because you're not going down so easily. Worth every single septim, no question. Alright, let's talk about one of the best-kept secrets in the Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion Remastered when it comes to unique weapons, specifically for all the sneaky archers out there. While other weapon types in the game get a ton of unique options, bows are kind of the underdog. There are only a few truly unique ones scattered around the world, which makes the Bow of Infliction stand out even more. If you're playing a character who lives and dies by stealth and precision shots, this bow might just become your new favorite companion. You can get your hands on the Bow of Infliction pretty easily too, which is a nice change from all the deep dungeon end of questline gear. All you have to do is head over to Breville and look for a shop called the Archer's Paradox. It is run by Danelan, a pretty chill Bosmer who knows his way around a bowstring. His shop is right next to the Lonely Suitor Lodge, hard to miss. Once you are there, just talk to him about his special stock and be ready to drop some serious gold, because this bow is not cheap. Now, let's talk about why it is worth every septim. The enchantments on this bow are not flashy in a set the enemy on fire kind of way, but they are deadly in their own right. Every shot from the Bow of Infliction reduces your target's agility and marksman skills, which means they will move slower and miss more shots. Basically, they become useless in a ranged fight. It is the kind of subtle power that turns a tough fight into a one-sided battle, especially when you are dealing with enemy archers or fast-moving targets. So if you are building a character that relies heavily on ranged combat, and you are tired of basic enchanted bows that do not really change the flow of battle, this is the one to go for. It might not explode on impact or drain health dramatically, but what it does is way more tactical, and honestly, way more satisfying. The Bow of Infliction is not just a weapon, it is a tool that smart players can use to completely control the battlefield. Give it a shot, literally, and see how quickly it becomes a permanent part of your loadout. Alright, let's talk about one of the coolest looking sets you can get early on in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, Emelian's Armor. This unique light armor set is tucked away inside the Emelian Tomb, which you'll visit during the Fighters Guild quest called Emelian's Debt. Now, I know light armor fans sometimes feel left out when it comes to stylish gear, but this one absolutely delivers. The entire set, along with its matching longsword, has this clean, bright silver look that instantly makes it stand out. It feels like something a noble knight might wear if they decided to ditch the weight of heavy armor and go for style and agility. Even though it is technically a light armor set, do not expect it to compete with the high-tier armors like Glass or Daedric in terms of raw defense. It is not winning any awards for tankiness, but that is honestly not the point here. This set is about flair. The silver finish gives off serious miniature ebony armor vibes, and, let's be real, looking good while fighting bandits and undead counts for something. This is the kind of armor that makes you stop at a river just to check yourself out in the reflection. The real surprise, though, is the enchantments. The cuirass comes enchanted with a frost shield effect, which might not sound like much at first, but it actually gives you a solid edge when you are exploring colder regions or facing enemies who love to spam frost spells. It gives you that little extra survivability right when you need it. Combine that with the sword, which, by the way, is basically a silver longsword that deals consistent frost damage, and you have a themed set that is both practical and great looking. Whether you are using it for its utility early in the game, or you are the kind of player who loves decorating their home with rare items, Emelian's Armor checks all the boxes. It is easy to miss if you are not doing the Fighters Guild quests, but once you know it is there, it is hard to resist grabbing it. Honestly, it is one of those sets that makes Oblivion feel special. Something that is not just about stats, but about story, aesthetics, and that feeling of uncovering something cool hidden in a dusty tomb. Alright, let us talk about one of the coolest hidden treasures you can find in the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, a little gem called Fin Gleam. Now, this is not your typical endgame gear with sky-high armor ratings or flashy damage boosts. No, Fin Gleam is all about exploration. It is the kind of item that makes you feel like you just outsmarted the game a little. And that feeling? Totally worth the dive it takes to get it. So, here is the deal. Fin Gleam is hidden beneath the waves near a small, lonely island west of Anvil. You would never find it unless you are the type of player who thinks, hey, I wonder what is under this random stretch of ocean. That is exactly what makes it so satisfying to discover. It is not marked on your map, there is no quest pointing you there. It is just waiting for curious adventurers to stumble across it. Now, what makes this helmet special is not the armor value, but the unique enchantments baked into it. Fin Gleam gives you Detect Life, Night Eye, and Water Breathing all in one go. That combination is a game changer, especially if you enjoy poking around underwater caves, flooded ruins, or doing a bit of stealthy nighttime snooping. You can stay underwater forever, see in pitch black, and even detect nearby enemies through walls. Not bad for a rusty-looking helmet at the bottom of the sea, right? And honestly, this is what Oblivion Remastered does best. It rewards players who take the time to explore, who go off the beaten path, and who are not afraid to swim into uncharted territory just because it looked interesting. Fin Gleam is not just a useful piece of gear, it is a reminder that in this game, curiosity is always worth it. So next time you are passing by Anvil, maybe take a little detour into the waves. You never know what you will find. Not every powerful item in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered is hidden behind a dungeon crawl or locked away behind a long quest line. Sometimes the best treasures are just sitting there in a shop, waiting for you to notice them. The Akavari's Sunderblade is one of those hidden gems. No dramatic backstory, no Daedric intervention. You just walk into the Imperial City Market District, talk to Sergius Varus at Three Brothers Trade Goods, and buy it. That simple. And honestly, it is worth every single septim. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what makes this sword so special? Fair question. At first glance, the Akavari's Sunderblade does not blow you away with its base damage. It is not going to one-shot a bandit chieftain. But what it does have is an absolutely devastating enchantment combo. Disintegrate weapon and disintegrate armor. You hit an enemy just a few times and watch their gear fall apart like cheap paper. It turns even the most well-armored foe into a sitting duck in seconds. What makes this even more fun is how strategic it feels in combat. Instead of just spamming power attacks, you are actively breaking your enemy down piece by piece. Suddenly that heavily armored marauder is running at you in broken boots and no weapon. It is hilarious, it is satisfying, and most importantly, it is effective. This sword rewards smart play and gives you a real edge in longer fights, especially against enemies that rely on good gear. So if you are looking to add a bit of chaos and control to your next playthrough, the Akavari's Sunderblade should be on your list. Do not let the lack of a dungeon or a quest line fool you. This is easily one of the best unique swords in the entire game. Next time you're strolling through the Imperial City, pop into that shop and treat yourself. Trust me, once you start shattering weapons and turning knights into barefoot brawlers, you will not want to go back. Alright, let us talk about one of the most underrated yet insanely powerful unique items in the Elder Scrolls IV, Oblivion Remastered, Renaissance, the Escutcheon of Coral. Now I know what you are thinking, who even uses shields in this game? And honestly, you are not wrong. A lot of players go full-on Stealth Archer or Magic Overlord, but if you are the kind of person who loves that satisfying clang of a perfect block, this shield is going to be your new best friend. So here is how you get your hands on it. You need to start the quest called Sins of the Father. During this quest, you will come across the Honor Blade of Coral, a pretty solid weapon on its own, but here is the trick. Do not keep it. Instead, return it to Laith Waverick in Coral. That is the noble choice, and guess what? You get rewarded big time. Laith hands over the Escutcheon of Coral, and trust me, it is worth it. Now let us talk about why this shield is not just some pretty decoration to hang on your wall in one of those houses you bought and forgot about. The Escutcheon of Coral boosts your endurance stat, which is already a win for tanky builds, but it also reflects some of the damage you take right back at your enemies. That means every time some poor bandit swings at you, they are going to feel a little of their own pain coming back their way. It is a passive way to deal damage just by playing defensively. One more thing, if you are planning a high-level playthrough, maybe consider holding off on completing the quest right away. This item scales, and at higher levels, the enchantments become even better. So be patient, hold on to that Honor Blade for a bit, and when the time is right, trade it in. You will not regret it. The Escutcheon of Coral is easily one of the best unique items you can pick up in Oblivion Remastered, especially if you are going for that knight in shining armor kind of build. Alright, let's talk about one of the coolest and most creative weapons you can get your hands on in the Elder Scrolls IV, Oblivion Remastered. Dawnfang and Duskfang. If you're into unique loot that actually feels unique, this is the kind of weapon that makes you pause and say, okay, this game has some serious flavor. You get this beauty during the Baiting the Trap quest in the Shivering Isles expansion, so if you have not made your way to the Isles yet, trust me, it is worth the trip for this sword alone. Now, here is what makes Dawnfang and Duskfang really stand out. This is not just a fancy sword with a weird name. It literally transforms depending on the time of day. From 6 o'clock AM to 6 o'clock PM, it is Dawnfang, and during this time it deals fire damage with every hit. Once the sun sets and you cross into nighttime hours, it turns into Duskfang, switching things up with frost damage instead. It is not just a cosmetic change either. The sword's visual appearance and magical effects shift with the time, which gives it this dynamic, living feel. But wait, it gets even better. The sword keeps track of your kills. Yup, it counts how many enemies you have defeated with it. When you hit that magic number, 12 enemies in one cycle, the next version of the sword becomes significantly more powerful. We are talking about enhanced magical effects like absorbing health or magicka from your targets. It turns what's already a great weapon into something absolutely deadly, and honestly, kind of addicting to use. You will find yourself going out of your way to hit that 12 kill threshold just to see what kind of upgrade you're going to get next. There are a lot of cool items in Oblivion, no doubt, but there is something about Dawnfang and Duskfang that just sticks with you. Maybe it is the transformation, maybe it is the satisfaction of watching the sword evolve as you rack up kills, or maybe it is just that sweet feeling of carrying a weapon that feels alive in your hands. Either way, if you are hunting for the best unique items in Oblivion Remastered, this one absolutely deserves a top spot on your list. Oh, let me tell you about one of the coolest and most iconic weapons in the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, the Umbra Sword. If you have played any of the older Elder Scrolls titles, you probably remember this beauty from Morrowind. It is one of those legendary pieces of gear that shows up across the series, and every time, it manages to stand out. In Oblivion Remastered, Umbra is not just a throwback. It is genuinely one of the best unique items you can get your hands on. So, how do you get it? Well, that is where things get interesting. The sword belongs to a character named Umbra, and she is no joke. You will find her in a dungeon called Vindazel, and if you are thinking of just walking in and grabbing the sword, think again. She is a tough opponent, especially if you encounter her at a higher level. But hey, this is Oblivion, and if there is one thing this game encourages, it is being a little creative or sneaky with your problem solving. Now, if you are not up for a direct duel, and honestly, I do not blame you, there is a trick some players like to use. You can actually lure Umbra out of Vindazel and lead her all the way to the Imperial City. Sounds crazy, right? But once the guards spot her, they will start attacking. If they manage to take her down, you can just stroll over and loot the sword like the clever adventurer you are. No stamina potions needed, no spell spamming panic, just pure strategy. And trust me, the effort is worth it. This sword hits like a truck and comes with Soul Trap, which means you can charge up your enchanted gear while dealing massive damage. It is a game changer, especially early on if you manage to snag it. Whether you get it the honorable way or let the guards do the dirty work, the Umbra Sword is one of those items that makes you feel like you just pulled off something epic. Definitely a must-have for any Oblivion Remastered playthrough. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.